Markets have continued to rise even in the face of hawkish tone from Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. It seems like the bull market, at least temporarily, is back, and there's no reason to fight that trend. Even as Bitcoin is somewhat trading sideways, we're seeing altcoins pop off left and right, especially AI coins, which we're going to discuss today. More importantly, a lot of you probably showed up because we're giving away 10 prizes of $50, $500. Courtesy of PrimeXBT, my guest today, every Wednesday right now, Dirk, is going to share how to do that. And at the end of this video, we'll show you exactly how to try to claim that money. Also, I have no intention of talking about this, but it's just at the top of my mind. I'm going to tell you a bit about my trip to Dubai and my very, very surprise meeting with the guys from Three Arrows Capital. You guys don't want to miss this. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and shake your head in shame onto the like button, and I will tell you guys why. First of all, the exciting thing, yes, and I'll just tell you right now, go ahead and sign up for a PrimeXBT account using the link down below right now, because you're going to need one if you're going to win the money that we're giving away towards the end of this stream. But we'll talk about that more with Dirk momentarily. As you guys know, last minute, I decided to take a trip to Dubai for the Satoshi Roundtable. I actually live streamed from there on Friday. I intended to live stream from there on Monday as well, but ended up at that moment, I was in the desert on a four-wheeler just shredding. So obviously in the desert on a four-wheeler was not the ideal time to show up for a live stream, being that it was 6:30 p.m. in Dubai. But I went to the Satoshi Roundtable 9, which is basically an invite-only conference epic. They rented out an entire resort in Dubai for just a couple hundred people. And instead of having the standard conference and people on stage, you basically just walk around and people propose topics and you hang out with the a lot of people were not contractually, literally, like, you have to basically agree to an NDA that you won't discuss who's there. You can't show pictures. You can't mention names unless they give you permission. I think it's pretty widely known, though. CZ was there. A lot of people obviously shared that fact. So that is the case. But all of the basically royalty from Dubai, guy I'll have on the podcast eventually, who is one of the llamas, a guy very close in line to be one of the Dalai Lamas, who I sat and had lunch with for an hour. Some pretty absolutely mind-blowing things, but perhaps the most mind-blowing thing that happened to me was a very surprise meeting with Kyle Davies from Three Arrows Capital. Supposed to also be with Suzu, but he didn't show up. To be clear, the meeting was not with me. I will not divulge who was going, but there was two people that were going, one who was a very good friend of mine and one who was in the past a very good friend with them. Didn't really know the intention. I just knew that they were in Dubai sort of pitching things and on their, I guess, redemption tour. And so I just crashed the meeting. I said, I'm going to go. And we met at a mall. So no, if you had the belief that these guys are like in hiding and that things are going badly, well, here's what I've got for you. They raised $25 million for a new exchange, right? GTX, which is now called Open Exchange in partnership with CoinFlex. They literally called it GTX for a day just to get the press and PR to quickly raise money. It took them all of 12 minutes, I think, to raise the $25 million. So that's not what they were doing there. But I can tell you that, at least their narrative, there's zero legal action against them, not a single lawsuit, not a single regulator, not a single anything. Their narrative, and I honestly think they believe it, whether we do or not. My bullshit meter was going off left and right, to be quite honest, but I sat and listened. I was a complete dick at the meeting, to be quite frank. Told them all the things I've said about them on social media very clearly and shared it. But their point was, we haven't gotten in any trouble. We blew up. It was our fault. We were only facing institutions. They were the assholes for lending us money. Now they blew up, and that's the narrative. And the further narrative, guys, I had no intention of talking about this, to be quite honest. But the narrative was that the biggest crook is Barry Silbert. DCG is going under, that Barry will go to jail for 5 times as long as Sam Bankman-Fried because everything that he did effectively was a massive security violation. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this is what they said. The Genesis was basically just giving them money endlessly over without the proper collateral. And because DCG and Genesis are regulated in the United States and those things are illegal, that they're securities violations. And those are the guys who are going to get into massive trouble. But as you've seen with on Twitter, they were basically punting all responsibility to other people. And Kyle just kept saying, listen, I blew up. I lost everything. I'm a hedge fund. That's what happens. I don't understand why everyone's so mad at you. And I was like, I'm so fucking mad at you. Right. And I literally asked him, sat down. I said, so what lie did you tell Steve Ehrlich at Voyager to get him to give you $700 million? I said, because there's no way that all of these people were giving you money over and over and over again without you showing them something. And their answer literally, which may be true, I can't tell you either way, was Steve Ehrlich called me and said, I have $700 million that I need to deploy, that I need to make money on so that I can give yield to my customers. Will you take it? Asked for no collateral, asked for no evidence of their trades, literally just asked for their AUM. And to be honest, that part I believed. He also said that they never had an outstanding loan with BlockFi, which was wildly reported on in the news. And one of the other people who was there with me, who does not like 3 years very much, verified it with on-chain data. So I'll tell you what I came out of the meeting with is massive confusion as to what actually happened. Very little clarity, but my major takeaway is that whatever lessons you think we may have learned are already being repeated, and we haven't even gotten into a new bull market. So if you think that we're not going to have greedy people who are going to blow up left and right next time the market goes good, then you're sadly wrong. They're also, because of their new exchange, partnering with the old CoinFlex, you may remember those guys who blew up because they gave Roger Ver a humongous loan and he didn't pay it back. So they're starting this new exchange with him, which has a token. And what's really happening is they're selling this token over the counter in massive amounts to all your favorite crypto whales. And I make no judgment on what people do with their money or how they're looking to earn it, because the coin will probably pump. I think it already went from like 5 cents to $1 something. It's called Flex token. And they casually sort of, the funniest part was that Kyle said, you know, listen, everyone wanted to do a 3AC token. We never did anything like that. There was FTT and they were using it to get loans. That stuff's insane. We would never do it. And literally 10 minutes later was telling us about Flex token that we could buy over the counter from him, which is their new token. So wildly inconsistent there, obviously. But I can tell you they're taking meetings with everybody who has money and those people are buying it. And that's not even like a pump and dump, right? Because like you would think they're pumping this token to dump it later, but they're literally the only sellers. So they're dumping it in real time, right? They're like, you're buying the token from them. They're making millions and millions of dollars to capitalize their ventures. And who cares what happens to the token down the road? I'm going to think about a lot of this more in the future, probably do a write-up. I don't know. Maybe I'll have Kyle on the podcast. I'm not sure. I'm struggling with who to platform and not to platform these days. People were seemingly pretty pissed about my interview with Kevin O'Leary already this week. I don't know, man. I don't know. But all I came away from it was a massive head shake. I have no idea what was true or what wasn't. But their narrative is we blew ourselves up. We did it with institutional money. Those institutions may have taken it from their customers, but that's on them. And we're starting this exchange. It's going to be the next FTX. That's what he said. It's going to be better than FTX. Better than FTX. It's going to be amazing, guys. And it's going to be the future. And you're going to be able to trade your FTX claims on there. There's so much more to it. I literally sat there for 2 hours in disbelief. But I'm going to go ahead now and do what you guys actually care about. I'm going to bring on Dirk, and we are going to talk about this market. What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Good to be back. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry you had to sit back there and listen.
That's okay. I was in total disbelief and shock about what you just said. And yeah, a better FTX, well, there can't be a worse one, I guess.
Yeah, I think they were referring to the tech and what FTX could do rather than obviously what happened. But like, I mean, as you kind of alluded to me before when I told you we might talk about Three Arrows Capital, you said hedge fund guys have big egos, right?
Yeah. But it's interesting, no? They kind of make the same mistakes like beginner traders, actually, no? It's never your own fault. It's always the fault of somebody else if you lose.
Well, I will say this. So he was deflecting blame for retail losses to the institutions, right? Very clearly. But he did not deflect blame for their bad trades. He actually said, we blew up. We were not prepared for the bear market. He said, you know, we had Luna. We had like 200 million loss on Luna. That was fine, right? But he said, but I had no idea the contagion that would cause. And then they were massively leveraged long on Bitcoin. They were massively leveraged long on all these altcoins that they bought over the counter at a huge discount. And everything blew up at once. So I will say he took ownership for being a trashy trader who lost everything in billions of dollars, but takes no responsibility for anything that happened to anyone as a result of it, I think.
Sad story. But yeah,
sad story.
That kind of mixes my experience I had in, let's say, the hedge fund world.
Yeah, I'm quite sure. Listen, we've seen people blow up. I saw a funny tweet today. Somebody said something like, every single person I know who is insolvent owned a boat.
It's kind of true, actually.
Yeah, like those guys, right? Of course, they were building a yacht called Much Wow. But anyone who gets so big from financial markets that they buy a boat usually means that they're on their way out the door on the next slight 10% market move.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, as Architect Jeff says, sounds like they're just bull market traders. That's correct. They thought that the bull market was never going to end, and the contagion caught them with their pants massively down. Okay, they're saying, Dirk, give us the market analysis. But first, listen, since we're going to do a giveaway at the end, right? Before we do the market analysis, I would like you to give the details because you have to sign up for PrimeXBT and you're going to have to enter a code later, which we're going to do a video at the end. It's going to be awesome. It's going to scroll through the codes, and the first 10 people who use the codes will win the money, right? So can you show us how to do that? I'm going to share your
How
screen.
fast can you type? Yeah, you want me to show it quickly how to do it, yeah?
Yeah, I think maybe if you have it pulled up. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, don't worry about it. So what you have to do actually after you sign up, you have to do two things. You have your wallets here, where you have deposited money. So it's like your hot wallet you have on your mobile phone. Maybe you have to go here, open a new account. So in my case here, I have a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and US dollar TIFA account right now, and just going to use the US dollar TIFA here right now. And then there's this field. If you click here and maybe here on account on the left side, where it says enter your promo code, and then you have to take the promo code. I hope mine works, the one I was given. Enter it here and click on activate. And ta-da, successfully activated. I got a bonus of 50 US dollar tokens now on my account, which you can use for trading. And if you win something from trading with this, you can, of course, also withdraw your winnings. So it's not just for gambling, you can use that.
Yeah, you can literally just withdraw it, or you can use it as an excuse to obviously try out the platform and trade, and if that's what you want. Victoria's saying, we should donate $500 to Turkey. I'll tell you guys right now, I will donate $500 myself to Turkey to match what PrimeXBT is giving away at the end of the stream. I've already been in talks to do a lot more than $500, but I will donate $500 today to Turkey to match what PrimeXBT is giving away, so that you guys don't think that we should just be giving away that money. Okay, so we can get that out of the way. All right, let's talk. So that, guys, if you have an account already, you're good. You can do this, right? And so otherwise, go sign up if you're obviously in a jurisdiction where you can do that. Okay, let's talk about the market, man.
Sure.
Let's talk about the market. Let's. What are your overarching, general broad strokes? We have, of course, Powell yesterday. We had insane job numbers since we spoke last.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's
4 times the expectation.
That's kind of the narrative that's driving the market. Maybe just really quickly, because I don't want to bore you, of course, out there with things you've already heard and read about it enough. But it's quite important. Two things here: job market much stronger than expected, which means, and that's always a little bit schizophrenic in my opinion, that probably the Fed is going to hike interest rates more or keep them higher at a longer level, which the market obviously doesn't like, because that means money is more expensive. So risk on assets such as stocks, such as crypto, pretty much tanked last Friday. But I think the last days, especially the stock market, has shown again how powerful the moves to the upside are at the moment. Yeah, people seem to be taking every drop, every drawback, every drawdown to build up new backs. And so it's basically now coming true what I've been saying for months already. We are in the early stages of a bull market. So very shortly here, what I'm expecting now to happen, pretty much, if I look at the S&P 500, maybe we could rather sooner than later reach the zone up here of 4,400, 4,300 to 4,400 points. After this, probably we are going to see prices coming down a little bit again. Maybe even testing the zone of 4,000 again. Remember, that would mean it's also a drop of 10% then, if we go all the way up to 4,400, which is a significant drop then on the stock market. So it's going to stay volatile, but I'm excited that markets are still behaving so good. And as you just mentioned in the beginning, Scott, of course, yeah, Bitcoin has been moving a little bit sideways. But remember, I think 2 weeks ago, we talked about this, that we kind of both expected maybe a pullback into the zone here of $20,500 to $21,500. It's not happening. Also here, every time we see a pullback, yeah, we are going to see people using this to build up backs again. So I kind of get the impression that, especially with the golden cross we saw this week, I think it was yesterday actually.
Yeah, the daily golden cross confirmed.
Confirmed, yeah. Okay. Here, and normally what we see, I think this signal, like this golden cross, has like a success rate of roughly 70%. If you look at all data on daily charts, normally if it's successful, you can expect like a pump in the upcoming weeks and months of a minimum of 40%. I think the maximum I saw was like something like 690%. But even if we just see those 40%, I mean, that's a lot already. That would mean we could very easily land up here in the zone at around about $32,000. And I did a live stream about this actually yesterday, where I also took a long trade. So again, putting money where my mouth is. And yeah, let's see how that works. Everything looks good. I'm kind of waiting for the black swan, around the corner, like the bad event that I don't have on my radar to happen. But I don't know what that could be. Maybe aliens landing or something like this. Just kidding, of course.
Never know. I think they landed actually during COVID, and we didn't pay attention. Like there was literally news about UFOs that was like released from the Department of Justice or something that got lost in the
maybe it's all a simulation and sitcom we are in. They kind of replaced the important people of the world and now are playing their pranks on us.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. You showed obviously the golden cross that everybody's been talking about. Few people are talking about the death cross here on the weekly, though. So you have a golden cross on the daily, but a death cross on the weekly. You can see that's the 50. Well, actually, it hasn't confirmed. Maybe if price went massively up, it would curve. But it looks like it would confirm this week going into
that would need to be a massive move up that it gets reflected. We are for sure going to see that. And that's kind of interesting. It's like, okay, are we going to see a quick pump now if that daily cross works up, and then a dump because then the weekly death cross takes effect? Or how is that going to pan out in the future, especially taking into account also the economic situation we are here in at the moment? Job market's so strong. Are we getting a recession in the USA? Aren't we getting one? Is inflation coming further down? I think exciting times. But I think also what, like, away from all the struggles of day trading, of trying to analyze what's going to happen in the next days, what you also should use this early stage of a bull market for is maybe think about what are going to be the trending themes when we talk about crypto for the upcoming years. And I think we saw this in an early stage already over the course of the last days, especially 2 days ago when Google announced its competitor for ChatGPT. If you haven't been living, away on the moon, you probably heard and tried ChatGPT. You can even use it for coding, so that's pretty exciting. And Google is going to release very soon in the upcoming weeks a competitor, which is going to be integrated in Google Search. And that's, in my opinion, pretty exciting because that means it's going to use real-time data. Because that's the one drawback we have in ChatGPT at the moment, that the data only goes until 2021. So it's not up to date with what's currently happening in the world. So that's pretty exciting. Also here, allow me a side note. It's the model where this Google scientist, he's not working for Google anymore. I think a couple of months ago it was announced that he thinks this AI has become sentient already. So it's going to be powered by the internet now.
Right. And I'm sure you saw that already, I believe. I don't know if it's released now, but the same thing, obviously, Google is doing with their new AI Bard. ChatGPT is already being integrated with Bing.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft. So that's happening in real time already, meaning that, using ChatGPT directly, you'll still have struggles with some facts being correct. But it looks like if you do it on Bing, at least in the very near future, that it will be very up to date. You'll be able to just ask the search engine for a direct answer without having to hunt through a bunch of links. It's really a huge game changer. And we're seeing that reflected in the crypto market, which I think is what you were getting to.
Yeah, it's a bit like Internet Explorer versus Google Chrome 2.0 all over again. And yeah, so what I am doing at the moment, I'm spending a lot of my days with is looking for AI projects in the cryptosphere. And if you just go here to CoinMarketCap and have a look and filter by the top AI and big data tokens that are out there, you get like an endless list of possible. It kind of reminds me, so like 140 projects currently listed there. And it kind of reminds me a lot of the internet bubble, honestly speaking, where back then, you just had to have something with internet in your company's name and VC funds, and people would just basically throw money at you. So a bit what you
like when the Ice-T company added blockchain to their name and the stock went up 500%. Yeah.
Exactly. So, of course, the challenge is now to kind of try to select the tokens that actually have a business model. The companies that are legit, that are not going to scam you. In my opinion, and I'm just really sharing an opinion right now here. Yeah, I'm not trying to shill coins and de-shill other coins. For me, the big trend probably is going to be everything related to having big data, organizing big data, and monetizing big data. Yeah. And because this is one of the struggles, if you are a data scientist, if you are a developer using an AI to analyze big data, for example, can be financial markets data. Like take all the closing prices of all assets that are traded in America and then analyze by using those closing prices, what the closing price of, I don't know, Bitcoin is going to be tomorrow. This is something, machine learning, what you can do with it. And it's, I'm doing this myself, actually. That's why I'm so excited about things getting more automated there. What you can do, some of those coins, you can use them then for, if you have data sets, either to capitalize on it, so to sell them in a secure way to other people, or you can buy data sets and run machine learning algorithms using certain coins to analyze your data. And 3 projects I'm pretty excited about here are, for example, Fetch.ai, Ocean Protocol.
I'm literally, as you're talking, I've been pulling up some of the charts I saw there on the top. So yeah,
okay.
Go ahead.
Coverland. We've seen now those, of course, as any AI coin out there, pumping a lot already over the course of the last days. But if you zoom out here a little bit, you can also see where all of them are still far, far away from where they used to trade at the top of a bull market last year. So there's a lot of fantasy, a lot of potential, in my opinion. Would I throw like all my money at this? Of course not. But I think if you have like a little bit of leftover, let's say like 2, 3, 4, 5% of the money you dedicated to trading, why not invest in projects like this. You just need to hit this one,
I guess
coin that maybe does a 1,000% or something like this.
The questions that I'm seeing in the comments, and the one that I always have in these situations, is how do we know this isn't one of those little 2-month phases in crypto that rapidly disappears, right? We had DeFi summer. I think that was really the seeds of DeFi. That was good. Yeah. But like the metaverse coins that pumped, 15 months ago or 14 months ago, just because Facebook renamed themselves Meta, had nothing really to do with metaverse development. And so is this one of those, are we going to look back and say, well, that was AI winter, But the difference here, I think, though, is that was just a rebranding of Facebook. This is, ChatGPT is changing everything. Like, this is a real development. I don't know how to choose the winners necessarily, but I had it's funny. I'm looking at yours right there. The graph is a great project. Singularity.net. I had Josh Frank from the tie on recently, and and they look at data, and he used that as an example of why this is a nonsensical bubble pump. He was like, I dug into the data on Singularity, and there's like one programmer, and there's nobody doing anything on it, but it's an AI coin, so it's pumping. And there it is, second on the list. So it's very hard, I think, to find those winners.
I think like what is different than from this metaverse craze we've seen. The metaverse craze came at a late start of the bull market, or almost at the beginning of the bear market, in my opinion. Already, we are right now, should history repeat itself, at the beginning of a bull market. So it's kind of like you selecting the DeFi projects when we zoom all the way out now back to 2019. And then, of course, hopefully exiting on time there as well, and not holding Luna until the very end, for example. And of course, there's no guarantee. That's why I say, don't throw all your money at this. You gotta be selective. And probably if you, let's say, buy 10 of those coins, I'm pretty sure 7 of them are just going to do nothing or drop to zero eventually.
Right.
Maybe 2 are going to be quite okay performance-wise. And if you're lucky, you're going to have this one big winner there. And this is really just what I'm doing here. It's in a form something I try not to do. It's a bit of gambling, of course.
Yeah,
but it's also fun.
I think people should be clear. These are trades.
Yeah.
Right. You're not saying you're going to buy these forever and put them away in cold storage for 400 years and retire on them. Right. This is a trade
this is not
that you're
Bitcoin
saying
we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think that's really important. A lot of people are asking about GRT. Do you have a graph chart? I have actually just pulled one up. I can just look really quick. To me, this is like the clearest trade in the world. I'm not saying, just to be once again clear, guys, I'm not saying this is what will happen. I'm saying this is what would generally fulfill my trigger to consider an entry if I was trading this. Interestingly, it managed to go pretty overbought without making a bearish divergence. But I think, we have a clear sort of resistance that was broken on insane volume on this candle right here at 158. Dirk may totally disagree, but I'm not interested in buying it here in the middle, right? I would consider a pullback there with a stop, maybe, a little bit kind of down here, and looking just for the target of a 2x, right? If you buy it at 15 cents, it looks like a pretty easy path. There's not any resistance in here up to 30 cents. That's how I would approach that one.
That's exactly the trade you want to look at. You want to wait until you have to risk, let's say, 5%, but you are able to earn something like 15 or 30 or 50%, a positive risk-reward ratio, because it's going to give you this nice situation that you just need to be correct like 35 or 40% of all the times with trades like this, and you're still going to earn money. This is how traders act and think. Patiently waiting, for this one trade where you then can pull the trigger. It's not about the clickety-click action. Although, of course, I understand that one is fun too.
Yeah, I'm giving you guys the midstream reminder here. Go sign up for PrimeXBT with the link down below, because we're going to give away those codes pretty shortly in the next 10, 15 minutes at the longest. I have a great question here from the audience. Dirk, when do you scale out when one of these pumps?
Well, when I do something like this, and again, this is very rare that I do something like this, I would always take my money off the table, my initial investment, once the investment has doubled. So say I throw like 10K at something like this. When it's worth 20K, I take out my 10K because, then I'm not at the risk of losing any of my initial investment anymore. And that is important. If it then wants to further pump up, well, great. Then I probably can just look shameful onto history later on because I sold too early. I was too impatient. Or I'm actually lucky, and maybe I forget about it. And when I log into my account again, I see, wow, this has gone up by 100 times.
Yeah, I guess.
Remind me in 3 years, please.
It says, patiently wait, as AM says, patiently wait for your AI coins that have already done a 5x to do another 10x. I think that's optimistic, but listen, if this is truly the beginning of a bull market, everything's going to go up, right? Yep. These just might go up more than everything else, which is why you're searching for a narrative. You want to be in, listen, I've been traveling, I haven't really been trading. I've missed this entire sort of AI run that's happened so far, but I am interested.
Yeah, but this is like, nobody's forcing you to go into a coin that has done 5x or 10x already. Look at what Scott just showed you on the chart right there. You wait for the pullback, and then you enter a trade like this where you see a support, an area of support, because it gives you this positive risk-reward ratio. If you just enter it because everybody is talking about it, because you hear Dirk being super excited about AI suddenly, well, then you're giving into FOMO, and you shouldn't be doing
right. That. This 4x'd already. FET, I think, has sort of been leading. Here we go. That bottomed, only in November at 0.05 and went to 60 cents.
And here we are again.
Massive,
should have,
could have. Yeah, but that looks done to me. Like that yet again. There was the trade kind of that I would have been watching right there, but maybe it goes up. But you're looking at a weekly chart with RSI of 85 already. It can go higher. That looks
look how it behaved in the past. Also, no? If you go like this pump right now looks pretty much like what we saw the beginning of 2020. If you compare kind of the candle, the fractals, pretty much the same. And eventually also it came back. Stopped at a resistance there, at a support there, and then it went up further because prices always like to go in waves, I
have the ocean chart as well.
For any
last time we looked at the ocean chart, this is what I said I thought would happen. It happened a hell of a lot faster, but the idea was actually right. Sort of bumped into resistance, consolidated, flipped it to support, and went nuts. But also now kind of at resistance up here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And but I think it's just the message here is I think this is going to be the underlying trend of the next years. The AI tools we see nowadays coming out now, they are so powerful, insanely powerful. I'm really such a fan of ChatGPT already because it makes my life so much easier. I sometimes do like, hey, can you write me a video description for my new YouTube video? It's about this, and that. And I hardly need to correct anything that comes out of there. That's for me the amazing things. And I use it for writing code in PineScript and Python. And this is just the beginning. Yeah, the new models, the updated models coming out are going to be 10x, 100x more stronger.
Thousands of x. Right. I saw a chart that showed already and it was after the first 2 weeks or something of ChatGPT, the exponential growth for the next one because of the machine learning and all the data it's taking in. It basically said that the next version will write you, and which is coming imminently, will write you a 600-page novel in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe we are closer to the singularity already, to quote the genius Ray Kurzweil here.
Drusified says Scott uses ChatGPT to write his daily newsletter. Unfortunately, I'm a glutton for punishment, and I don't do that. But I will admit that on some of the news, I allow it to do a first edit. Right? I've never used ChatGPT to write any of my content because to me that feels disingenuous. But I definitely will allow it to edit some of my content and make sure that the grammar's good. That really saves me a ton of time. Is something that I do pretty often.
And this is how tools like this are intended to be used, by the way. It's not like a substitute for being creative. It's going to help you to channel your creativity. But okay, we don't need to get too philosophical here. Somehow that always happens, when you talk about AI. You end up in a deep philosophical discussion about it. So yeah, AI, the next trends, but we are of course talking here about a time horizon maybe of 2 to 4 years, maybe 2 to 3 years actually, because in 4 years we are probably in the next bear market already. What really is important, if you want to pick your trades at the moment, I honestly speaking think every pullback in for example Bitcoin here. Let me switch quickly to the daily chart again. Seems like a good buying opportunity. I actually bought yesterday because of the golden cross here, because my thought process here is, well, I buy now at, let's say, around about 23,000 US dollars. I can place a stop underneath 20,000 US dollars, but I have a target of 32,000 US dollars. So my upside is much, much better than what I have to risk on this trade. And as a trader, and as a trader who makes a business decision, every time he enters a trade, this is a trade I would take anytime, anytime, and every time. So this really it's as simple as this, and let's hope the data that comes out in the upcoming days and weeks is going to support us also economically in our long decisions, man.
There's a lot of people on the side over here in the comments who can't believe that we're even using the words bull market. By the way, I love that, because that means nobody ever, it's always too late for most people when the bull market has started, right? So you can never be in a bull market without people telling you you're crazy if you're trying to time sort of the bottom.
But let me tell you one thing there. Just because we say we're in a bull market, it doesn't mean that we can see corrections of like 10, 20, 30% still in crypto. That's totally normal. That's what we also saw in the last phases. That's why it's so important to have your game plan ready and not to FOMO in, when everybody else starts FOMOing in. I can promise you, this becomes true in the upcoming weeks, that we are going to see 32,000 US dollars potentially in Bitcoin. The FOMO is going to be crazy again.
It's also
you are going to have your dad and your daughter and your grandma asking about Bitcoin again.
Yeah, I mean, it's also time frame dependent, right? I mean, you could easily say we've been in a bull market, a micro bull market since November, right? I mean, price was 15,000 and now we've flirted with 24,000. I would say I just pulled up this chart that for people who trade very technically, there's a very clear definition of bull and bear market, which is higher, lower highs and lower lows, or higher highs and higher lows. So above two, I will say that for me, I do think we're in the beginning of a bull market. That would be confirmed with a flip of 25,212, because that is the last lower high. Yeah. So we've had since 69,000, at no point have we had a higher high or a higher low. We've just had lower highs, lower lows. That's a bear market. So if we make a higher high at any point, which would be above that sort of death cross there, that to me would say, okay, that would validate my idea that we are in a bull market. But that's just for me. Everybody has their own definition.
No, and it's absolutely true. And if maybe show that chart again. I like the chart you just had. There you go. And possibility also here is, if you look at the weekly chart, can you zoom in a little bit? Just that I'm sure my eyes are not deceiving me here. Very typically here would also be if Bitcoin now pulls up to the 200-day moving average on the weekly chart, and then we see a turnaround of things again, first going down to 20 or 21,000 again. This is what I mean, by that we can still have those corrections of 20, 30, 40%. Maybe hopefully not 40%, and still be in a bull market, because it means we make a higher low then. Yeah,
it'll be something like this, basically.
Something like this, basically. Exactly. It's still going to be a confirmed bull market, because we made a higher low and then we are going to make a higher high again. And I know already it's going to drive people crazy. So that's why it's so important every now and then that you take out those weekly charts also. And we have a saying in Germany, sometimes you cannot see the forest because there are too many trees. And this is what happens when you just look at 5-minute charts, or even hourly charts, or even worse, 1-minute charts. You kind of lose view on the greater narrative there. So important that you pulled up this chart to see, like, okay, on a long-term horizon, this is what's happening. Oh, we seem to be in a bull market now. Well, maybe I should look for long entries then, and not try to time the tops of the market, of this bull market, because eventually I might get wrecked.
Any final thoughts before I show these codes? We got 10, just to be clear, we got a video. It's got 10 codes. You just, I don't know, freeze frame it or pause or take a screenshot or something. And the first person who enters any of those codes and is signed up for PrimeXBT will get
I hope
bonus.
I hope those codes and those $50 are going to help you to kickstart your trading career. If you look back in a couple of years, you can say this is where it all started, on this live stream of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh my God, that would be amazing if all of a sudden this was like the bottom and people claimed $50 and turned it into a viable trading portfolio. Hey, I mean, listen, for me, I started with $3,000 in crypto. It's a little more than 50. And I just had impeccable timing, and the market like quintupled in the first week that I was in at the late 2016. I thought I was a genius, but it can happen where you start with a relatively small amount. I mean, I've told the story. I basically started with $3,000. I wasn't even doing much. I waited a week. It was 20. I took out 10, and the rest of my crypto life was the remaining 10.
Yeah, things like this. And that's the nice thing about crypto, no? This insane upside we can sometimes see before we go into
I'm being
the
clear.
valley
I'm
of
not
fear
saying
again.
that's what's going to happen with your $50. I'm just
No.
saying that was my story and what happened. There's people who are doubting that that could happen with $50. I'm just saying it can happen. I'm certainly not saying that it will. All right, Dirk, you think we should do it? I'm going to show this video. Are we ready? I'm going to go
Good luck,
full
everybody.
screen. I'm going to go full screen. Well, you know what? I'm going to let you go so you don't have to sit through all of this. Guys, say thank you to Dirk. Dirk, we'll see you soon.
We will. Take care, everybody, and good luck. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Thank you. See you soon. All right, guys. Now that I've got your attention here, let me, I got to figure out how to do it. Ready? Here we go. On your mark, get set, go. Dun, 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 dun. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, just for the kids, I'm going to do it one more time. Let's do it again. I'm going to play it one more time so you guys can see it. I'm going to take the banner off too down there. Sign up using my code down below and then enter this code. Come on. Doing it again. Hope you guys win. And feel free to donate it to Turkey if you want. Nobody will blame you for that. 8, 9, 10. That's it. Now you got to zoom back and screenshot or do whatever you got to do. Go back because Dirk showed you exactly how to use this code. You go into your wallet, obviously, put it in the promo code, activate it, and the money will instantly appear if you were the first one to use that code. Yeah, you can pause the screen too, but then you won't get to hear me talk anymore. Guys, that is all I have for you today. Man, I am jet lagged. I actually got a little bit of sleep last night, but I did wake up at 3:30 because, that's what happens when you fall asleep at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to go rest a bit. And see you guys tomorrow. Go ahead, watch it. I hope you guys win. Let me know tomorrow what happened. Otherwise, that is all I've got for you guys today. You can still go sign up on PrimeXBT using the link below. Sign up for that, guys. I will be back tomorrow. Can't wait. See you then. Peace.
That's dope.